Why do we call it Germany, a name that feels so familiar to English speakers, but the people who live there call it Deutschland, a word that sounds quite different and carries its own unique meaning? This simple question opens a window into centuries of history, language, and identity, revealing how nations are shaped not just by borders, but by the words we use to describe them. Germany today is a land of innovation, culture, and influence, a central pillar of Europe, known for its engineering, music, and vibrant cities. Yet the name Germany is just one of many. The French say Allemagne, the Spanish say Alemania, and each language has its own version. The Finns, for example, call it Saksa, a name that hints at ancient tribes and trading routes. Each name reflects a different historical encounter, a different lens on the same place, shaped by centuries of contact, conflict, and cooperation. But the people themselves have always called it Deutschland, a name rooted in their own language, culture, and sense of unity, stretching back to the earliest days of the Germanic tribes. This isn't just a linguistic quirk. It's about how nations see themselves versus how others see them, and how identity is shaped by both self-perception and outside influence. Understanding the difference between Germany and Deutschland is a journey into the heart of national identity, language, and the stories we tell about ourselves. So, let's travel back in time, from the bustling streets of modern Berlin to the ancient forests and castles of the past, to uncover how these names came to be. Along the way, we'll meet Roman generals, medieval scholars, and powerful chancellors who all played a part in shaping the country's identity. By the end, you'll see why Germany has two names, one given by the world and one it has always held for itself, each telling a different story about the same remarkable place. Let's begin this historical detective story and discover the fascinating journey behind the names Germany and Deutschland. To truly understand what Deutschland means, let's take a closer look at the word itself and the story it tells about the people who call this land home. The word is made up of two parts: Deutsch, which means of the people, and Land, which simply means country. But there's much more to it than just a literal translation. Deutsch has its roots in the old High German word Deutsch, which meant belonging to the people or popular. This word was used to distinguish the language spoken by ordinary folks from the languages of the elite. In the Middle Ages, Deutsch described the everyday language of the common people, while Latin was reserved for scholars, the church, and the ruling classes. This distinction was crucial in shaping a sense of identity. The word Deutsch helped unite a patchwork of tribes, Saxons, Bavarians, Swabians, and many others, not by territory or rulers, but by a shared way of speaking and understanding the world. Over centuries, Deutsch gradually transformed into Deutsch, and the land where these people lived became known as Deutschland. This evolution marked the birth of a collective identity. The name Deutschland reflects a growing sense of cultural unity, rooted deeply in language, tradition, and a shared sense of belonging. Unlike many country names that were given by outsiders, Deutschland was a name chosen from within by the people themselves, as an expression of their own identity. It's a powerful statement. We are the people who speak this way, who share this language, and who belong together. This internal naming stands in stark contrast to the many external labels and names applied by neighboring countries throughout history. Deutschland is more than just a name. It's a declaration of shared heritage, a symbol of unity, and a reminder of the journey from scattered tribes to a nation. It's the story of a people defining themselves not by borders or rulers, but by the language they speak and the culture they share. And it's a story that continues to unfold today as new generations add their voices to the ongoing narrative of what it means to be part of Deutschland. While the Germanic peoples formed their own identity, the Romans created a different name, Germania. The Romans saw the lands east of the Rhine as wild and threatening, needing a label for these unknown tribes. They likely borrowed the term from the Gauls, who called their neighbors something like Ger or Germ. Julius Caesar popularized Germania in his writings, drawing a sharp line between Gauls and Germani. For Rome, Germania was a convenient way to group diverse peoples as outsiders. The name stuck, not because the tribes used it, but because Rome's influence shaped Europe's view for centuries. Germania was a Roman construct, an act of power, not understanding. This outsider's label would echo through history. Caesar introduced Germania, but Tacitus gave it depth. In his book Germania, Tacitus described the tribes as noble, brave, and pure, contrasting them with decadent Rome. He never visited Germania. His work was part fact, part moral lesson. Tacitus's romanticized vision shaped Western perceptions for centuries, fueling stereotypes of the noble savage. His book became the definitive source on Germanic peoples, especially after its rediscovery in the Renaissance. Caesar defined the borders. Tacitus filled them with myth and meaning. Together, they ensured Germania and its imagined qualities would endure in European thought. The people themselves, meanwhile, had their own names and stories. After Rome fell, the name Germania lived on through the Latin-speaking Catholic Church. Medieval scholars and chroniclers used Germania to describe the lands of the Holy Roman Empire. As the empire grew, so did the use of the term, especially in official documents and among Europe's elite. The name seeped into emerging languages. In England, Germania became Germany. This was the standard exonym, an external name adopted by Europe, not by the people themselves. Meanwhile, within the empire, people called their land Deutschland. This duality, Deutschland inside, Germany outside, was set for centuries. Not every neighbor called the land Germania. The French say Allemagne from the Alemanni tribe on their border. The Spanish and Portuguese use similar names. In the north, Finns call it Saxa from the Saxons, their main Germanic contacts. Slavic languages use names like Nimsi, meaning mute, a reference to the language barrier. Each name is a snapshot of history, shaped by which tribe or encounter was most significant. These names reveal how different peoples saw their German neighbors. The result, a patchwork of names, each telling a unique story. The Germans, meanwhile, kept calling themselves Deutsch. Why did the Germans stick with Deutschland? What makes this name so powerful, so enduring that it survived centuries of change and upheaval? For hundreds of years, what we now call Germany was not a single country. Instead, it was a patchwork of kingdoms, duchies, and free cities, each with its own ruler and traditions. Despite these divisions, the people shared a common language and a vibrant culture. It was this shared heritage, songs, stories, and customs that truly united them, not political borders or rulers. In the 19th century, as the idea of a unified nation grew stronger, Deutschland became a rallying cry. It inspired poets, thinkers, and revolutionaries who dreamed of bringing the German people together. When the German Empire was finally proclaimed in 1871, the name Deutschland anchored the new nation in its deep cultural roots, reminding everyone of their shared past. The name Germany, on the other hand, is what outsiders called the land, a legacy from the Romans and the way Europe saw this region for centuries. Deutschland is the name from within, a symbol of shared identity, pride, and a long, complex history that shaped its people. Both names, Deutschland and Germany, tell the story of a nation seen from two perspectives, one internal, one external. To truly understand these names is to understand the heart of Germany itself, its struggles, triumphs, and the enduring spirit of its people. Names are more than just words. They carry history, perspective, and the power to shape how a nation sees itself and how it is seen by the world. What other countries have names with such fascinating and layered origins? The stories behind names can reveal so much about a nation's journey. Let us know in the comments which country names intrigue you the most and why.